officially call to order our regularly scheduled Vader City Council meeting. And for the information of the public, we began our workshop with the roll call and an invocation, and we did our Pledge of Allegiance, and the council considered that sufficient for tonight's public meeting, so we will, unless the council has a change of heart, proceed directly into our agenda items.
Can you give me a time on the call to order?
6:02 is the call to order. Now we could, perhaps it would be wise to do another roll call, just for the public, for our record.
Mayor Smith,
Present?
Andy Wilson,
Present.
Mark Fennison,
He called in and indicated he'd be sick or had a family matter to deal with, so he was excused.
Joe Shy,
Present.
Kevin Flynn,
Present.
and Justin Olson.
Present.
Okay, with that, we do have a quorum again, so we'll proceed with the mayor's report. The top of my list, you'll note, is the Utility Sustainability Work Group. And if I recall correctly, and I'd invite our city clerk to refresh my memory if you can, that this was, we learned that we needed to form a group to assess the sustainability of our utilities. And that was about 2 weeks ago, and now I don't exactly remember what the basis for that was. Do you recall?
Yes, I received some training in a webinar,
Right.
and it was, they have a new booklet thing out, manual, I guess, trying to help cities improve their sustainability of their utility programs. And so they've provided this information, and seems to be decent, good information. And when the mayor and I were discussing it, it was suggested that possibly we have put together a committee for our own city to go through this book and kind of work on our utility system and the sustainability of it, and see how we can apply these resources possibly to our situation.
Yes, and so I don't expect everyone to stumble over themselves to volunteer to participate in such an entity, but perhaps we could invite them to read the materials that you got from the webinar and see if
Okay.
that might spark some.
Do you want me to copy the
Yeah.
book?
Mhm.
Okay.
There wasn't any deadline for the,
No,
Permission,
it's
it's
not
all-
required. This is strictly for the city's benefit.
yeah.
There's no one requiring us to do it. It's just
Mhm.
thinking that this might be of help, so.
So from this, let's just go ahead and make a copy and we'll distribute it for your effort. The next item on my list, I do remember, because at 10 minutes to 5 this evening, the state auditor, who's been in our community for about a week and a half, pouring through all of our records, financial and otherwise, left. And it's generally not disclosed in a public setting, the outcome of those audits. However, some of you have been made aware of the result of it, and rather than announce it in a public meeting such as this, because the exit conference is going to be on December 11th. Do we have a time for that exit?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. At which time the formal conclusion of that activity will be made public. So with that, if there is a member of the council who would like to find out what the official, it's not official, but the status of that, we'd be more than happy to chat with you later. So, but it's a major accomplishment, and as the individual who's responsible for city administrative matters, I can tell you I would be remiss if I didn't extend appreciation to our city clerk, Jill Nielsen, Diane Floyd, who were present with this auditor and expended considerable time and energy providing the materials they needed and answering questions and just meeting their every need. So, and the fact that we have all the documents available and ready for the budget for your examination is further evidence of the competence of the professionals we have in our office. And I've received considerable praise from the auditor for the assistance rendered. And so this represents another another milestone for the city of Vader to have completed this audit. Now we can move forward and stand a little taller, having accomplished it. Did they set a date for the next audit? Have they talked? They'll probably mention that in the December 11th meeting.
Yeah, we know we will have what's called a single audit at some point next year due to the large expenditure of the two programs we have right now. And that will be mainly financial relating to those. But usually it's a 2-year cycle.
Yeah, and that singular audit you mentioned wouldn't constitute what would be considered a citywide audit, as far as I understand.
I wouldn't think so, but.
Yeah, but nonetheless, I guess we probably need to ask that question at the exit conference. So with that, planning department update. We put that on here because we want the council, this is a burning need. To have lost Rob White was a significant step backward for the community. He had dragged us a long ways. Members of the community here who have been waiting anxiously for their finding park board chairman and new council members, because it set everything on hold that we, and I won't belabor the issues that it has placed on hold, but we're in the advertising process, and we've got the advertising out. Have we gotten any feedback?
It hasn't run in the paper yet.
Okay. Well, we've got it out there. It's going to run here soon, and hopefully we'll get responses. We have the ad for the city, the engineer. That has appeared in the paper. Not quite yet.
No, not the engineer. You mean the hearing examiner?
The hearing examiner.
That has not run either.
Oh, my word. Okay. Well, hey, it's been an audit, so that's the excuse we have. Okay. When, maybe you could let council know when we hope to get those out. Do you have an estimation?
I don't know that we'll have them ready for this coming Wednesday. I'd have to have them done tomorrow. It's possible, but it'll probably be the following Wednesday.
Okay. Circle your calendars there.
So that would be the 26th, probably.
Okay. November 26th. Breaking news. Okay, let's jump to the next. Status of our sewer operator. Ned Peltier is now on board. We've written a letter to the Department of Ecology articulating the agreement that we've made with Ecology to allow him to perform the functions that he is. He's engaged in sampling processes, received some training, and is doing extremely well as far as I can discern. So that is another bullet that we've dodged, and I think that the city can kind of now just sit back and breathe a little easier as far as that's concerned. The item that wasn't officially printed, I felt it appropriate to provide a report to the council regarding the latest fire situation. We've gotten feedback from members of the community that it might be appropriate for, in this city council meeting, as a matter of public record, to express concern about the tragedy involving a 3-year-old child that the Lewis County Sheriff's Department handled professionally and ably. 2 suspects are in custody. Obviously, it was a post-crime investigation because of the fatality that resulted, and there's no way to bring back that child who was born into a family setting that ultimately resulted in his death. But they weren't long-term residents of the city of Vader. It doesn't reflect on the community as a whole. It's a tragedy that happens across this country. But on behalf of City Council, I've spoken to a number of people in the media and repeatedly expressed what we believe is a bright future for this little community. It isn't a reflection of that crime, isn't a reflection on the residents as a whole. And the fire that occurred, my commentary to the media, I hope if you've been contacted by them, it would be the same, is that that as well is not a negative reflection on the community. It happens when human beings go about living their lives. Crises like that happen. It's too early to provide any sort of speculation as to what the cause of it was. I believe that fire marshal was involved, and perhaps if the deputy has any clarifying knowledge, feel free to pipe in. But I spoke personally with Rob Snaza, the newly elected county sheriff. He's given me a report. I've spoken with the fire chief who oversaw the activity, and it was handled with a high degree of professionalism. There were minor injuries among some of those who were in the house at the time that it began. The fire marshal was present. A preliminary investigation ensued, but we haven't been given a report tonight. The fire districts involved are in a meeting at this very moment. Well, you get back 7 o'clock. We're going to be having a meeting at which time information will be brought out as to the situation. I've been told that there will be costs associated with the response. Some equipment was brought in from a nearby community that was used in the fire suppression effort that somebody's going to get to pay for. But I'm not prepared to tell you how those expenses are going to be distributed. But we'll find out in the near future. So that's about all the comment I would make. We have set in motion as a community efforts to contact the owners of the property involved, and in an effort to determine their ability, willingness to clean up the site. And we'll keep you advised as to the progress of that. Did you have anything to add?
I don't have anything to add on the fire. I know very little about that because I'm the case detective for the 3-year-old homicide case. So
Oh.
that's all I've been working on, so I know a lot about that case, but nothing about the
Yeah,
fire.
and probably not appropriate to
Right.
share much on a public record like this. Well, we thank you on behalf of the residents of Vader for that. 2 individuals are in custody, I understand.
Yes.
Okay. So that concludes the mayor's report. Any questions? Comments? Okay. Let's jump ahead into the approval of the agenda. I can tell the council that if there's an item C under new business, I'd invite you to delete that in its entirety.
Item C.
Item C, yes, it's become a non-issue for this council setting. That's the only adjustment I would invite the council to make to our agenda tonight.
I'll put a motion forward that we accept the agenda as written with the notation that item C under new business be deleted.
Okay. You've heard that motion? Heard that motion submitted by, oh, please.
I believe there was a voucher change. Should we include that in there as well?
No, that's not necessary,
Okay.
just when the voucher
Okay.
people have.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
excellent. So you've heard the motion submitted by Mr. Flynn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Wilks. Any other adjustments? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. We'll proceed now with the approval of the minutes for the 2 meetings noted.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for October 23rd, 2014, for the city council meeting and the 2015 budget workshop.
Okay. You've heard the motion, it's submitted by Mr. Olson to approve the minutes as written for the dates designated. Do we have a second? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. Okay. Voucher approval. You'll note the total. Do we want to mention the reason for that, the amount now or later?
We will be discussing it down in item 1 in unfinished business.
Okay, then I guess we would press forward with council action.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers in the amount of $136,596.54.
500, how much?
586 or 596?
$596.
If you look at this note that I gave you all, there's an
Oh, I
adjustment
missed
to
it.
that.
That's what I was mentioning
$10.02.
earlier.
Sorry, my bad. Okay.
Just think.
Thank you, Jill, for
Yeah.
clearing that. Okay, I interrupted you. So you submitted a motion.
In the amount of $136,596. Excuse me, $136,596. $136,596.54.
Okay.
I said it right the first
Okay,
time.
Mr. Shai has submitted a motion to approve the first half of November voucher expenditures in the amount noted. Do we have a second?
I second that.
Seconded by Mr. Olson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Time for public comment? Do we have anybody?
I do. Looks like you do. Jason Daly.
Uh,
Jason Daly, 811 D Street. I'm just here, I have requested, Judy Costello and I have requested a meeting with the city concerning the street between the railroad tracks and the store of the Annanen Road Street project. And we've hit a roadblock in the whole, we're trying to rewrite the grant for that through the railroad. We've hit a roadblock with our needing a 503 status, so we're trying to come back through the city. So that's why we need a meeting. And it's been 2 weeks and we have a real short window of opportunity here, so we want to.
What is the deadline? Do you know?
It's not necessarily a deadline. It's just, you know, we've got our contact people that we've talked to, and they're waiting for us to get this information back to them. And, you know, through you guys, we want to make sure that you know what we're doing with that also, what we're asking for. So that's what that meeting was.
You know we're not a 501(c), right?
They need a 503.
We're
You're
not
not?
that either. We're not a nonprofit organization.
And there's none in town, right?
Wouldn't the Lions, wouldn't the Lions
Lions
be?
Club is nonprofit, Mason's
Yeah,
nonprofit.
I don't think the railroad will take the Lions. Our whole shot was through the city because we've asked everyone else. They've tried to get a grant through the railroad in Winlock through the Lions Club and they were denied, so.
Yeah.
And with our
we talked about that.
dismantle of the Lions Club here in town, I don't know if they still have that status.
What about the Masons? Do they have a
Is
503c
are the Masons
status?
a 503c? Do you know? The
Nonprofit.
Masons? Are you a nonprofit 503?
Yes, we are.
Are they a 503
I'm pretty sure we're a
or
501.
501? Difference, I don't know. I just learned all this stuff here recently. I just know that.
No, everybody was.
Okay.
I thought you were
Nonprofit.
503. Last time we talked was a 503.
I'd have to find out tomorrow from the secretary.
If anybody has any ideas of how that we can get that pushed through, I know city tried to put a grant through
Right.
there.
No,
for that.
and it wouldn't
Is that
work.
why? Not because of the amount of it, but because of the status of the 50, that's why?
Yeah.
And that it's not our street.
Well, part of it is.
15% of it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so, you know, even with us putting in a request for them to pave their portion of it, you know, I've even had, talks with you in the past that you guys would help, you know, even if you did 15% of the 22,000 that we're requesting, that's the bid that we got from a long time ago.
Yeah.
That would still only be, you know, certain, like $3,000, which I think we have in the road repair area.
Yeah, that'd be something the council would really have to chew on, well, 3 minutes, would you be willing to talk to Mr. Wilson?
Sure.
See what you can learn from that,
Sure.
okay? And then get back with us and we'll see
Okay.
what we can do.
Well, thanks for your ideas.
But,
We do have Hallie Sword also.
okay.
Hi, Hallie Sword, 811 A Street. This, I talked to someone the other day about it. It is regarding the death of the 3-year-old child. No, Vader is not in any way responsible. But there's something very haunting about the death of this child. There's no recognition by the community, not that it's anyone's fault, it's not, it's a bitter tragedy. And I was wondering if the leaders of this community would be interested in having maybe a 1-hour memorial, just so this little boy's name is said and prayer is offered, that we cared that he lived, that he died. And I'm a pretty stoic person, for those of you who know me. But I think there is some need to acknowledge the life and death of this child and offer some prayers in our own way for him. So if anyone's interested in doing this, I would be happy to help in any way I could. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any others?
That's it.
Okay. Appreciate those who attend and provide public comment. We'll proceed now with the remainder of the agenda and begin with unfinished business. Item 1 is a wastewater treatment topic. We have an update on the CDBG project and consider the manhole project pay request. As far as the update is concerned, my understanding is that they've completed all of the relining of the 52 manholes. and that they are still in the process of doing the seal testing of the individual manholes. And but when that's completed, and it shouldn't take that long, then that portion of our project will be done, and a report will be provided to the council by the individuals involved. So, anything to add to that, Jill, that you're aware of?
No,
That was as of last
that's-
Friday.
Yeah, as of actually this afternoon,
Uh-huh.
when Jonathan left, he had talked with them, and that's exactly what they said. They're done coding, they've done most all of the testing, that they'll come back for probably anticipating one day next week to test the last few manholes that have not finished curing yet. They have to wait for them to cure, and then there'll be a day next week that they come back and do some more testing, and then that will be it.
Okay,
That
excellent.
project's done.
So with that, the question that is associated with item 1A is the request to convey to them $120,000 of change to them, which I think contributed to the total of the voucher approval. So did you want to clarify that?
I'm not positive what the proper procedure is, so I know that the request has to be approved by council, and I wasn't sure if a voucher approval was enough, so I added it as its own line item just to be safe. So if council, it sounds like you're willing, since you approved it in the voucher total, but if someone wouldn't mind just saying it as a separate motion, just so we make sure and have all of our bases covered, that council approved it. We'll be awaiting, once we get the approval, we'll be holding the check until we receive the funds from the grant. And then once we receive the grant funds, then we will disperse the check. But I guess they require us to have council approval first before they'll give us the money, so that we can pay them. That's just kind of this. So I
It'd
just
be
want
nice to sit on that check in our account for a while and draw some interest and then pay the bill. I'll put a motion forward that
Okay.
we approve the CDBG project and consider manhole project pay request number 1 for $120,403.59. I think we should approve that and get it moving.
Okay, Mr. Flynn has submitted a motion to approve the expenditure of the funding total as noted. Do we have a second?
I'd second.
Seconded by Mr. Wilson. Is there any additional commentary by the council on that motion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Can I ask a question now? I didn't want it to interfere with the motion, but it has
Does it
something to do with
relate to that?
No.
Oh,
Yes and no.
Oh.
It doesn't affect the motion whatsoever, okay? But my question is, they discovered some problems with the
Yeah.
sewer lines running up there off F Street, down off the back here
Yes.
somewhere.
Mhm.
Did they ever make a conclusion on what's going on back there?
They haven't told me about it yet. Have they shared with you? anything?
They've provided the videotapes. They went and did additional videotaping and testing. They provided the videotapes, and they were working on getting a correct map and information together for the city, so that all of that information is in there. I know they've done some of the corrective work, and I know they're planning on completing the corrective work, but it sounds like the project's getting over, so we'd have to double check on that,
Yeah.
how far they were able to
So
get.
I know they discovered some serious problems.
What they
And
have
it'd be
assured
tough.
me is that they're going to give that report when and they're concluding the report to the council. So
Okay.
I'd write that question down. And let's-
I'd like to find out what's going on there and what's been done.
Absolutely.
And give them a little information, because they haven't come to me on that part, but you're talking about F Street manholes?
Manholes,
No,
and
it's pipes.
there's
It's
something
a
to do with the
sewer system.
crossover and the drainage lines and the sewer
Okay.
lines, and things are all messed up.
And well, Tommy Spain put that in.
They did it wrong.
You know, if it went to Tommy Spain, it's very possible he could tell them how they put that in.
I don't think they want to know who put it in.
Okay. Well, I know a little bit about it, but
I think they figured most of it out, and they're just
Mhm.
in the process of trying to correct it.
Right.
Yeah, correct whatever's wrong.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago when that was put in.
yeah.
It used to go through Hayden Hancock's property, then keeps on going down and came into the sewer lagoon.
Well, it
About
appeared
3 or
that it
4
was just,
manholes
it
there.
appeared that it was flowing directly into the hole. But fortunately, they were able to determine that that wasn't it.
Yeah,
But it was close.
yeah, they were frightened
And that
for a
was
while.
sewage, but we won't do that. All right, so that didn't happen. Make that a matter of public record. Now let's go to item 1B, report on the wastewater facility plan update. I haven't had a report in the last 8 days as to what the status of that wastewater facility plan is.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
it's, they've provided us with a draft. We are reviewing it right now,
Is that the BHC?
yes. And.
Well, I just finished reading that today.
No, you did the
Oh.
CERP, you did the environmental, is required as part of it though, the environmental process. It's like a SEPA, but it's called a CERP, and anyways. So the mayor's working on completing that, and once we get all of our opinions
Mhm.
in, then they will be providing a final draft for approval by DOE.
Tell you,
So, they're very close.
we might seem rather flippant in this, but it was a major accomplishment for me to read the State Environmental Protection Report from BHC. And it's complicated, but I went through it with a fine-tooth comb. I know now more about the environmental impact of that facility and what it's going to do. But when I called BHC this morning and told them our results, because we don't have a planner who's supposed to do that for us. So the SEPA responsibility now falls on the mayor's shoulders. And so I called them. There were a couple of minor modifications to it that I was able to add. And so with that, they're going to send us a letter, which we will use to create the next letter, which is going to push us into the next step. So when we might be able to move forward with that, I would only guess, but
Well, once the determination is made, then it goes into a public notice process.
that's right.
It has to go through a couple weeks of being open to the public, so the public can review it and
That's good.
comment and give their opinions. And then
Yes.
after
So
that, then I
probably
think,
at least 2 weeks, because you have to advertise a public hearing. Okay, there you have it.
we're nearing the end.
Yes. New business. Council is now to consider a takeaway from our workshop that we held earlier today to consider resolution 11-2014, property tax levy rate for the 2015 budget. We've had prepared for you an action agenda bill for council action. We'd invite you to engage in that.
Just want to go
Some brave council person.
down the table and see what we each want to do. I'll start.
I'm number 4, so,
Oh, you want to go last?
Huh?
yeah, I'm gonna go last.
Okay, we'll start from the
I'll
right
go here.
to the left.
I'll go ahead. So we've banked 5.96%, and I was thinking that we should just do the half, the 2.98, which for most of the citizens in town is going to be less than $1 a month.
That's about 90 cents, isn't it? Okay. Oh, I see. That's for $150,000.
For a $150,000 house, you'd be looking at $12.23 a year.
Okay. So you've heard
It's a
that
very few
suggestion?
number of houses.
Do what now?
Exactly.
Council is deliberating on the property tax increase
Right.
that is allowable and recommended by the state law.
Well, I made my point there that I figured 1% because we have so many low-income people that own homes, and like your example, there's two ladies over on Main Street, and they don't get no rebate or anything for being old and don't have anything, and so the highest for a $200,000 house is only $660, where they would be costing about $80,000 home would be $2.64, and this is why through our budget meeting I suggested that it be 1%. And that's my opinion for the people that we have in town that can't afford hardly a penny.
Okay. So,
The people that have lots of money, well, we care less.
so that would be $4.95 for 150,000.
Yeah, it'd be $6.60 for Randy Wilson.
Hey, public meeting. Okay. So let's proceed with
Sure.
Mr. Olson.
Yeah, I'd feel comfortable doing the 1%, and really just understanding just the economics of the community, but also understanding inflation and the fact that we need to keep building instead of just breaking even. So, but
Okay,
yeah.
so you're with the 1%.
1%.
Mr. Flynn?
Don't make me look like the bad guy here.
Well, Joe, I know what we're running up against, and I'd say this meeting's gonna be a draw, because I don't wanna see us spend any more money, but I realize what we're up against, so I say the 2.98%.
Okay,
I agree with Joe. Do I wanna spend more money? No. Am I making more money? No.
yeah. Mhm.
Well, we all don't have as much money as you do.
Well, you're fortunate there.
Well, I don't think I can be the tiebreaker unless I misunderstand the mayor's ability to break the tie and such, if it's financial related.
I'm not sure
Budget
about that,
related.
but it's not in the form of a motion, so you don't have anything to break at this point.
But,
So, for discussion.
yeah, it's still up for discussion, so don't look for me to bail you out. And it is 20 minutes to 7, and
Well, we're not gonna go all night here. I'm not gonna make you a bad guy, Joe. I'll just back down, because it's important we get we move ahead with this and don't get a hang up over it.
It is, and really, we're debating
Yeah.
50 cents
Yeah.
per month here for the average citizen, probably less than that, actually.
yeah.
So it's not that much money really in the end, either direction. So we can do 1%, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Then are we ready for a motion?
We are. Andy, why don't you put the motion forward?
Yeah.
I make a motion that we pass resolution
It's on
number
the-
11, 2014, 2015 amending property tax levy rates at 1%.
Just go ahead and read.
Oh, I'm sorry,
That's okay.
at 1%, which would be a percentage increase of 1%.
Okay, that captures it enough. Mr. Wilson has submitted a motion for council action to, as noted, to approve resolution 11-2014 in the amount of, with an increase of 1% from the previous year. Do we have a second for that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Shive. there any additional debate, deliberation on the part of the council? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Also under new business, item B, we will put it here as knowing that it was going to be a matter for discussion in the previous budget workshop. We'd like the council to consider surplusing the remaining police vehicle that we have. We can't move forward unless the council authorizes that.
I'll put a
action.
motion on the table that we surplus the remaining police vehicle as soon as possible.
Okay, Mr. McLean has set a motion to surplus that vehicle at the earliest opportunity. We have a second for that motion.
I second.
Second by Mr. Wilson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Last item, we were approached by a resident of our community who was informed by the court that he would be required to provide 60 hours of community service. And so I spoke with our Public Works employee, and he and I was well aware that we have a need for this individual's energy and abilities. It would not be inappropriate to identify whom that individual would be, but I would do it if the council so dictated, as a matter of public record, or so inquired. You want to know who? Okay, it is Rodney Allison, and he's asked if the council would need to approve his request to provide those 60 hours of community service, and his service would be overseen by our Public Works employee and myself and our city staff. So, without getting into specifics as to what he'd be doing, we wouldn't have access to any particular buildings or facilities within the city limits, but he would be tasked to specific work. So would the council be willing to grant him that privilege?
Is he going to be well supervised? That's my
Yeah,
concern.
my conversations with both our public employees, yes.
I'd approve that. You want a motion for that, or just?
Yeah, I'll talk to him.
I'll put a motion that we approve, approving community service hours for Rodney Allison,
Okay,
as long as he's well supervised.
okay. You've heard the motion to approve the 60 hours of community service contingent upon adequate supervision of Rodney Allison. Do we have a second?
I second that.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Olson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion is carried. Thank you very much for that. All right, with that, I see no additional agenda items. So, absent council commentary, this meeting is adjourned at 6:46 p.m. Good job. Thank you for the progress in that one.